just one more time. So just keep that in mind when you're cutting them. But I don't know about you, I love cinnamon rolls, and I would want a nice big cinnamon roll. Kind of squeeze them in there. They need to be friendly. Now I'm gonna crowd these in the pan, and the reason that I'm crowding them in is because you need to have them touching for when they bake. You don't want the edges of your cinnamon rolls to dry out when they're baking. And if they're all kind of crowded in here together, they'll rise together and they'll bake together, and they won't be hard on the edges. I think we can fit another few at the end. And these made really big cinnamon rolls. Maybe just one at the end. All right, we need to put this with the plastic wrap just like we did before. This needs to rise just like the king cake. So we're going to wrap it with plastic. And we're going to put this on top of the oven or in any warm place that you have, along with the king cakes, and let them rise until they're doubled in size. Now we made some of these ahead of time and put them to rise so we wouldn't have to wait on them. And as you can see, the cinnamon rolls have doubled in size, and the king cake has doubled in size. And these are ready to go in the oven. We're going to uncover them, and we're going to put them in a 350 oven for probably about 20 or 30 minutes. And while these are in the oven baking, I'm going to show you how to make the icing for both of them. That's two different icings. So we're going to make two different icings, but in the same bowl. The first one we're going to make is the simple icing for the king cake, because the king cake icing is just basically powdered sugar and a little bit of milk and some vanilla flavoring. So we're going to put about 3 cups of the powdered sugar in here. And this is a basic icing that you could use also to dribble over a pound cake or any other kind of warm cake that you would want a simple light icing, not a thick buttercream icing. This is just a basic icing. So we've got just powdered sugar, that's all that's in there, and just a little bit of milk. And you'll see that just a little bit of milk in the powdered sugar goes a long way, and it's going to come together as an icing. Now when it starts to come together, we're going to add a little bit of vanilla flavoring. As I said before, you can use any kind of flavoring you'd like. And that is our icing for the king cakes. Now we're going to take this out and put this in a bowl. We're going to get the last little bit of powdered sugar off the edges and kind of mix it up in there a little bit more. And we're going to pour this into here. Now with the same bowl, because all we have in this bowl basically is powdered sugar and milk, with the same bowl we're going to go into making our icing for the cinnamon rolls. But icing for cinnamon rolls is going to have cream cheese. And we're going to put just a little bit of cream cheese, about 8 ounces, into the bowl and get that started mixing. And we're going to put probably 1 cup this time of powdered sugar. This is going to be a little bit thicker icing. This is a basic icing that you would use to start a buttercream. We just want to mix it just enough to get all the lumps out from any of the powdered sugar or from any of the cream cheese. And we once again want to add just a little bit of vanilla to that. Now if it starts to come up the edges of the bowl, you want to scrape that down and mix it again, because you want to have all of this icing to go on top of our cinnamon rolls. Now that's come together pretty well. So we're gonna check and see if our cinnamon rolls and our king cake are ready to come out of the oven. All right, we've taken our king cake and our cinnamon rolls out of the oven, and they're all nice and golden brown, ready for us to top them with the icings we made. The first one we're gonna do is the cinnamon rolls, because we want them kind of warm when we put the icing on, so the icing melts down over the top of them. Now this is our cream cheese icing that we made just a few minutes ago, and we're gonna put this right on the top, and you'll see it's just gonna kind of melt into it because they're still warm. Now, I don't know about your children, but my children would love to wake up and smell this. And we're gonna leave that sitting there just to kind of melt onto it while we do our king cake. I'm gonna scoot this over. Now the king cake, remember, was a thinner icing. It's not as thick as the icing for the cinnamon rolls. This goes on the king cake once it's cooled just a little. Not all the way, but it needs to be a little bit cool because we don't want this icing running off. That one's okay to run, this one's not. So we want to put this on the top, and it is going to run down the edges a little bit, but we don't want the cake so warm that it runs all the way off the cake. Traditional king cakes have the icing kind of draped over the top like this, and then they're topped with the colored sugar. Now, I have taken just regular granulated sugar and I've put some food coloring in it. We have green, gold, and purple. These are all the colors of Mardi Gras. So we're gonna go around the cake with a little section of green. We'll do those across from each other. And then a little of the purple. Now the purple in the king cake symbolizes royalty. And this cake was made for royalty. So we want that section to be a little larger. And then we go with the yellow. And there is the king cake. And our cinnamon rolls.